Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1 Episode 15, Return to Kamino, has finally been released, beginning the two-part finale to the series and giving us a terrifying glimpse into the future of the clone troopers. This episode is packed full of incredible moments with massive consequences on the galaxy, so let's break down everything that went down in the episode and what might go down as we move into the finale. So make sure you subscribe for more awesome Star Wars lore content and a huge breakdown for the finale next week. So the episode begins inside of a dark prison cell on a ship racing towards Kamino, where the captured Hunter has been transferred to after his capture on Daro. Crosshair wants to lure the rest of the Bad Batch to Kamino using Hunter's comms device in order to set up a huge standoff. Back on Ord Mantell with the remaining Bad Batch members, Echo is working on repairing the ship, but Omega is getting extremely impatient and is worried about Hunter's safety. Things quickly change when the Bad Batch get a message from Hunter's comms unit, making them immediately prepare to rush over to Kamino. And we also learn that Gregor is still with the Bad Batch at this time, but has been left with Sid, while they rush off to Kamino to rescue Hunter. Arriving on the dark, rainy world, we are immediately met with a huge Imperial blockade of the planet, clearly preparing for something major. Immediately after landing with the imprisoned Hunter, Admiral Rampart greets the member of the Bad Batch and lets him know that his antics on Ryloth gain some significant Imperial attention before leaving Crosshair in charge of the situation. But before the rest of the elite squad walk off, one of its members voices her concerns to Rampart about Crosshair's true motives, and in return he warns her to keep an eye on him. As the Bad Batch crew arrive on Kamino themselves, Omega informs the rest of them about a massive hidden platform deep beneath the water, which is very difficult to activate normally. Luckily, Tech's piloting skills get the job done. After that, we learn even more about Kamino's deepest secrets, with Omega letting the Bad Batch know that there is an underground tube system for transport around the planet's rough oceans. The tube that the group are in now has a direct route to Nala Se's research lab, which Omega is obviously very familiar with. Following that, Hunter notices that there are no regs, no Kaminoans, and no young clone cadets, meaning that the cloning facilities on Kamino are being decommissioned. Hunter tells Crosshair that he should be terrified of what that means for him, but Crosshair believes that he will be fine, since he's a clone that matters, unlike the Bad Batch. After travelling through the underwater tube system, we finally enter the personal lab of Nala Se, where we see the exact spot both Omega was created, and where Experimental Unit 99, or the Bad Batch, had all of their defects greatly enhanced. Every single person inside of this room was also created in this room, or at least had their lives altered forever. Pretty cool to think about. The members of the Bad Batch were sent back to be with the Regs soon after their modifications were made, but Omega on the other hand was the personal project of Nala Se, so she remained right here in this room for many years. While they are discussing this, Wrecker is in shock, but AZ, the awesome Kamino medical droid, who you will obviously remember from the earlier episodes of the season, as well as the clone conspiracy arc with Fives, makes his return, but is unfortunately in hiding. AZ informs Omega that Imperial soldiers were just seen deactivating almost all Kaminoan droids and herding key Kaminoan medical staff onto transports to get them all away from the planet. We can pretty safely assume that this is all going to tie into Palpatine's whole cloning fiasco and probably explain a few big questions about how he returned, which still haven't been answered. That is, if they can make their minds up on them. Following this, Hunter pleads with his old friend Crosshair to realize that he's being controlled by the inhibitor chips, but before he can break through to him, they are interrupted by the arrival of Omega and the rest of the batch. Omega and AZ lead the squad through the white passageways of Kamino, spotting some very concerning movements of the TK troopers, but ultimately manage to make their way deep inside of the facility. Soon after this, they detect Hunter's signal right above them, which happens to be in the open ground of the training arena. We've seen the Citadel training arena plenty of times now, featuring both in the show and the awesome episodes of the Clone Wars where the Domino Squad comes together. The group knows that they'll be sitting ducks up there, but really they have no choice at this point. While Echo, Wrecker and Tech go up to face down Crosshair, Omega goes back to the ship to contact Rex for help. Unfortunately, when they face down Crosshair in the arena, things go instantly wrong, leading Echo to contact Omega and get her back. AZ wants to follow the protocol by returning to the ship at once, but Omega knows that something isn't right and that they must return to help their friends. Underneath the arena, we see the very familiar arena droids, which are incredibly close to the training units used by Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, as well as the Dark Troopers used by Moff Gideon. Dark Troopers originally came from the Dark Forces game, and the Phase Zero ones actually had clone troopers inside of the armor. Pretty creepy stuff. Following this, Crosshair voices his heartbreak at Hunter and the rest of the batch for leaving him behind, and telling him that the batch never gave him a chance at his darkest moment. Crosshair then tells Hunter that he will give him something that he himself was never granted, another chance. Crosshair again expresses that he, along with the other batches, are superior to the Regs and can help to enforce the will of the Empire on the galaxy with their extreme strength. The sharpshooter then extends his hand out to give the Bad Batch a chance, but the members of the elite squad are not going to stand down, leading Crosshair to take a single shot and kill 4 members of the squad. That was absolutely ridiculous. After much more painful arguing between Crosshair and his old squad, the sniper reveals that he has had his chip out for a very long time and is acting completely through his own will. It's not fully clear if he's lying about this or if he does actually have this chip out, but there are a few options. One of course is that he's completely telling the truth and simply wants to remain loyal to the Empire. Another is that the Empire told him his chip was removed, but it actually wasn't. Or of course he could be lying to himself in order to convince the Bad Batch to flip sides. We'll have to wait until next week to see what the answer actually is. While this is happening, Omega releases the training droids out into the arena, forcing the Bad Batch to almost fight alongside their former ally once more, and they eventually come out on top. After hearing that the situation is completely out of control however, Rampart orders all of the non-clone units to leave the arena and let the clones die together. Crosshair does eventually get knocked to the ground, but the members of the Bad Batch aren't going to leave their man behind, despite everything that he has done, and the fact that he still desperately wants to serve the Empire. Hunter also inspects his old friend's head while he's on the ground, but doesn't manage to conclude what really happened to Crosshair's chip. While this is happening, Rampart receives a hollow call from Tarkin, who orders the full orbital bombardment of Kamino, after confirming that all essential personnel are off the planet using his very famous line, "You may fire when ready." As soon as Rampart gets the orders from Tarkin, he orders his fleet of Venators to fire on Kamino, unleashing an absolutely tremendous amount of fire down onto the water below, completely glassing the planet and killing any unlucky souls who were left behind, as well as pretty much all of the life underneath the water. Even though there are still many clones serving and hiding across the galaxy, this is truly one of the ending markers of the Clone Troopers' legacy on the Republic, and now of course the Empire. The home, birthplace and training place for the troopers is now completely shattered, and only very few of the Kaminoans have been taken away in order to be used by the Empire. And the most heartbreaking thing about all of it is that when Rampart orders his men to open fire, the men pulling the trigger aren't TK troopers or enlisted recruits. They are clone troopers firing on the very place that they were raised and trained for almost their entire lives. Such a sad moment to see clones destroying their home, but with the Empire you really can't expect anything less. After giving the order, a barrage of blue cannons rain down on Kamino, while the Bad Batch and Omega are stuck inside of the facilities, desperately attempting to escape. Pretty much every facility on the planet is now completely destroyed, and there won't be any cloning taking place here for a very long time. This is a huge deviation from the old Legends timeline, where a Kamino rebellion happened on Kamino itself, and Commander Cody was even training stormtroopers on world, but a rebellion could still definitely happen, just on a different world. To me it seems like Rex is gathering many clone troopers from everywhere he can find them, and he might pull them together into a small clone rebellion. The music, the animation, and Rampart's absolute coldness all make for a very somber end to the home of the clone troopers. But as for the batch themselves, we sadly already know that they will make it out and live to fight another day, since just yesterday we were told that there will be a season 2 of The Bad Batch, which is coming out next year in 2022. So I want to know what your predictions are for next week's episode, and whether or not you think there will be a major tragedy, or if we'll get the return of Crosshair to the main Bad Batch. So that was my full breakdown of Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1 Episode 15, Return to Kamino. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.